Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. May I take your order? Today in topic 2, adding and subtracting decimals, but the whole goal today is to do it mentally, is to use a variety of strategies to be able to solve these problems mentally, right, in our heads, writing down as little work as possible. And so just some properties we should know, right, that we can use properties of addition and compensation to make things a little bit easier, right? So the associative property says that you can change the grouping of add-ins, right, that you can add certain numbers in a certain order. And the commutative property says something similar, right, that you can kind of flip the numbers around. And then compensation adjusts one or both of the numbers to make it easier, and then you adjust on the back end. And so what we're going to do here is look at some examples of each. Alright, so first of all we're going to kind of look at the commutative property here. We're adding these three. I'm going to assume that these are dollar amounts, the way that they're written. Okay. And you'll notice, right, that they've moved $11.45, 11 and 45 and 9 and 55 They've moved the order so that you could add those two numbers together. Why do you think they did that? If you're thinking it's because you can add 55 and 45 in your head and get another dollar, that would be absolutely correct, right? 55 and 45 makes 1, plus 9 is 10, plus 11 is 21. Now I have 21 plus $3.39, which I could also do in my head is $24.39. Right? So when you're adding, when you're only adding, you can move these numbers around in any order you like. Okay. The associative property says you can change the grouping. Notice here in this left problem that $9.55, 9 and 55 is grouped with 3 and 39 and parentheses tell me I need to add those first. But that's not a problem I feel like I could solve mentally. But if I change the grouping, right, if I move my parentheses so this is what I solve first, again, like the previous problem, 55 hundredths and 45 hundredths adds to get 1, right, plus my 11, plus my 9, plus my 3 and 39 hundredths. Right. 1 plus 9 is 10, plus 11 is 21, plus 3 is 24. I might have to write this sideways, plus your 39 hundredths. Right. So you can use commutative property and associative property to help you change the order if necessary. Compensation is where you change one or both of the numbers to make it easier. So here in this problem I have 4 and 25 hundredths minus 8 hundredths. And so instead of just taking 8 hundredths off, I can make the 8 hundredths 10 hundredths. Because subtracting and working with 5s and 10s is really easy. So when I take 10 hundredths, I take 10 cents off of this, I end up with $4.15. Okay? Except because I subtracted too much by 2 hundredths, I have to add those 2 hundredths back in. And so that's where we get this piece. Okay? Compensation with decimals is a lot like you might do with whole numbers, right? I don't know 14 plus 9. What I do know is 15 plus 10 is 25, but I need to take one out and take one out, so my final answer would be 23. If we're adding, it's a similar thing, right? 47 hundredths is pretty close to these 50 hundredths here, right? I've added 3 cents on to make my problem a lot easier, right? I can do 50 plus 35 in my head. I can do 3 plus 4 in my head. However, I need to compensate because I added 3 cents over here. I need to take 3 cents away on the back end to end up with my answer here. I want to stop and I want to say something very important right now. all four of these ideas, well, three of these ideas we've seen in four ways: commutative property, associative property, compensation. The goal is to make it easier to do mentally. However, if you are a person who needs to write it down, no one is telling you you cannot write the problem down. All we are saying is that the goal is to be able to use these to help you mentally. If it doesn't help, then there's no point in using it. All right? So, here are some problems to try mentally, right? Some of them could work from switching the order. Some of them might work from some compensation. So like here, for example, I might switch the order to be like this, because I know 12 and 8, I can add that and get 20. Right? And then 28 and 4, all right, that's 32. 3 and 20 make 23. Okay. Pause the screen and solve the rest of these problems in any way that makes sense to you. Okay. In addition to number 1, number 3 I solved using the commutative property. I switched some numbers around. 2 hundredths and 48 hundredths would give me 50 hundredths. I thought that one was a nice one to use with the commutative property. The other ones I solved by using some combination of compensation. Right here I made $6.97, 6 and 97 hundredths into 7. Right, so then I'm adding too much here, so then I have to take a little bit out. Right, down here I subtracted too much when I made 6 and 98 hundredths 7, so then I have to add that back in. Here I kind of just took it in steps. I knew that 35 minus 14 would give me 21. And then I kind of used a whole number strategy, right? I thought about 17 minus 8 would give me 9. And that's how I solved the rest of this one. And then on number 6 it was compensation as well. Again, if these strategies aren't making sense to you, use the algorithm. All right, one more thing to talk about here is estimation. The question about why do we estimate is not in your notes, but it's a pretty important one. And the general idea about estimating is so that we can get in the ballpark. We want to be close. We want to be close for a couple reasons. One, it might help us check our answer. That's pretty important. See if we're reasonable, see if it makes sense. 2, sometimes we don't care about the actual answer, right? Students in green school, right? I might care how many students are in this class right now because I'm responsible for all of you, but if I talk about the school in general, I don't know how many kids are in the school. I would probably just use an estimate, okay? So, one of the ways we can do it is we're just going to round each number to something that's really close, right, the nearest whole. So $7.25 is really close to 7, and $4.98 is really close to 5. So we would expect our answer to be close to 2, right? Another way to estimate is by using compatible numbers, by rounding things specifically to make things easier to work with, right? Compatible numbers make it easy. So 149, 150, 356, 350. Because I can add 50s and hundreds all day long. 50 plus 50 is 100. 100 plus 100 is 200. Plus 300 is 500. This last example involving decimals, a little bit trickier until I start to think about money. And now maybe I just bought a hot pretzel, $3.25. About to buy a soda for about $1.75. Right? So my 25 cents plus 75 cents is $1, plus $1 is $2, plus $3 is $5. Okay? So, Your next steps today are log into the online textbook. There are 2 more practice buddies to do, 2-1 and 2-2. You have to complete them both. See me with any questions, and have a great day.